Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel where I share ideas. I don't know how many ideas I'm going to share with this project because they're standard lathing procedures, but I'm going to call this one a spaceship, and it's going to be quite different from the normal bowl, but it'll still be classified as a bowl. The bowl spaceship. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you the piece and a couple cuts as I start here. The rest will be on pictures and small segments of video later on when I talk about it. So I better get busy and make some chips fly. I'm anxious to start on this project. Okay, I got it laid down to what I think I would like. Let's give you a close-up here of what I've done here. You can see the curved surface there. And I laid the back as well and have it all sanded there. I've left the top arc a little higher than the bottom arc. And I'm going to do it into a bowl. I figured rather than having my flying saucer exactly even, since I want to depress the top of it off center, I should have it a little deeper there. And you just watch the curve on the outside so you can feel across the top, so you really can't feel where the center is. It needs to be a smooth arc all the way across. So I've got it all sanded there, and I brought the center part down there where I glued the block down a bit. I'm going to cut that off now and then finish it up with hand sanding to complete that curve there. So anyway, that's how far I've got so far there. The next, this is the easy part. When I go to what I'm going to do next, it's going to be much more difficult. Uncharted waters, as they say. I've never did it off-center turning before. I decided to hand saw it off, because with that spinning and using a parting tool, eventually it's going to become airborne, and I'll have a spaceship completed before flying, before I actually have it ready to fly. So just a little patience, keeping turning there, and before long folding it with one hand, being careful not to saw through and into your hand, but eventually you feel it getting loose there, and then it's just a matter of popping it off. Okay, here's an idea that I thought of. Put a bunch of the shavings on the lathe if you have something like this, because you've got that nice surface there, and that way you don't get any scratches or it. Then I'm just going to take this off with a and keep going in circles so it stays nice, and you keep your part. I want this spaceship bowl to appear like it's flying through the air, so I want to make a flat spot on one side at an angle. So I put this on the, I'm using a disc sander and just holding it at an angle, and sawing off a section of the side there. You can see what I've done there. So this sander, there may be other ways to do it, but that's what I have, and it seems to work fairly well. In the previous video that I made, I talked about trial and error. In this video, I've talked about going into uncharted waters as I try to make something that's on a multi-axis bowl called a spaceship. Well, the spaceship is a spaceship, and this has been a trial with some errors, but we'll continue to work through it. And that's what makes wood turning exciting. Trying new things and solving new problems. So in my trials and my errors, I hope to impart you some knowledge. When I glued this on the back plate there that I put on, I used paper because I thought that would snap off easily once I got the inside bowl done off. Well, that might have been an error. It was kind of a compounded error. The other error part, I probably didn't let it set long enough. It was only probably 5 or 6 hours. Anyway, it broke off and made a nice arc through the air, just like a super nice spaceship. So I reworked it, remounted it, and this time I've glued it solid to the wood. So I'll cut it off and then reshape it after that. But so I think that's the way to go about it. Don't take any chances. Glue things solid. And this time I let it dry overnight. So I'm out here this morning. I'm going to give it another shot here and see if it works. But if it does, then I'll show a little footage of actually turning it a little bit later here. Well, it seems to be glued on well, and it seems to be holding. So I'll take a couple cuts here. This is the only position I can use for the camera here that's not attached to the lathe here. So it kind of shakes and vibrates a bit, but hopefully I'll get it finished. Exciting. Well, I'm getting down to almost to the size that I want there, and taking out a fair amount of wood. But I turned it up one speed. I just got step pulleys, but I went a little faster, and it seemed to smooth out a little bit better and not vibrate so much. So I'll show you how this is here. That sounds a lot better. Now we come to sanding. This will be probably another trial, but you certainly don't want to make an error on sanding. The last video I made, I clipped my finger there on those sharp corners, but so you have to be very careful. And so what I'm doing here is using a drill. I have one that has an angle on it, but the chuck isn't working right now, so I'm just using the regular one and a sanding pen. This way you can keep your fingers far away, and it's working a lot better than what I expected. Easy to do the bottom, come around the top, but this inside. Outside. And I do have a dust collector set up, but I thought it might make a little too much noise. Also, working from the inside to the outside gets into that corner quite well where there's always a little tear up. I've got it, the bowl sanded, the front sanded, and now I want to take this piece off that I glued on solid. Anyway, I was looking at it and I thought, wonder how I'm going to do that. So I thought if I could whittle it away a little bit, it would be easier to cut the rest off. But so I decided to lock the lathe up and then try just splitting it with the grain. And that seems to work fairly good. Just keep splitting it, and even on the other side where it's totally glued, take small pieces and it'll break the glue off. This may help you on some other project there, is splitting that off. Once you have a piece split like this, and the glue is holding it, then I turn it 90 degrees and give it a split it the other way. And there's just a little bit of wood left on. There goes my chisel. Anyway, that's 2 steps. Split this way and then split that way, leaving a little bit there. I'll work down towards where my screws are here. Well, that worked out really well. I'm surprised. Managed to split it out, and with the screws still in, splitting around the screws and then downwards, got it all off. Just one little piece here. Work a little bit on that with the sander, and it'll clean up slick as could be. That was a real trial, but it didn't seem to be any errors in it, and proceed forward. Well, I got it pretty well all off. I just took the chisel and holding it in my hand, got it under the edge and twisted it a little bit and managed to pop that piece off. So now I'll just take a little bit of sanding. I'll have that cleaned off quite nicely. Here's another, possibly a great idea, is since you've got all these shavings from the lathe on a project, if you have any sanding to do, just put a bunch of shavings down on the lathe bed and go at it. This spaceship is getting ready to fly. It flew off the lathe once, so I know it does fly. Okay, this is the base that's going to be for my flying saucer bowl. The bowl will be suspended in midair like a flying saucer, and it requires an off-center turning as well. I didn't cut it to exact shape that I want, but I'm just going to turn it down and then shape it after to get the shape that I want here. This area in here is where the post is going to be, and I'm going to laminate some more wood onto there to elevate the bowl there. But I wanted to see if I could actually turn part of it before I did that, in case it was a total error. But so far it looks pretty good. So I'll just turn it on here, take a couple cuts. Using a fairly heavy gouge here, and it seems to work good. I tried the gouge first, but then I went to this heavy-duty scraper, and it seems to work a lot better. I think that'll be good for now. I'll take it off the lathe and laminate some wood on there for the post there, and then I can shape the whole thing. Here's the base with the post on it. I just glued a block of wood on there and then I've lathed it down. It's curved up, and then I'll have to cut the base to shape and do a fair amount of sanding to get it down to the shape that I really want there. So this is kind of, you might say, the rough lathing of it. Brought it down fairly thin here, but it'll be cut back here. And then once it's cut out to shape, I'll take and bring it all down even all the way around. And it'll be cut off basically right here at the back. So this post will be right at the underneath the lathe there, underneath the bowl there. Yeah, okay, well anyway, it's been a few trials here trying to figure out what to do, but it's come along. I bet you can't wait to see the finished product. Okay, now I've laid out a circle. I actually used the compass there and come right to the tip here and right in behind the post there that I have. I'm just going to cut that on the bandsaw, and then it's all going to be tapered down by sanding.